Hello and welcome to this Estonian Inlay tutorial. My name is Nahiev and you can find me on Instagram, Ravelry, as well as here on YouTube using the username inherskane. So today I will show you how to work the Estonian Inlay technique, and this technique is used, for example, for this pair of socks, which is one of my designs. These are the Linaria socks that I'll link below. So Estonian Inlay is basically working with a contrast colored yarn to create little flows at the front of the fabric. So we are going to be working basically back and forth, but while we are knitting with the main color in the round. So I'll show you how we do this. It's actually quite simple and very satisfying. And this allows you to work a motif like this without carrying your float all the way around the sock. So here we have two different motifs on either side of the leg, and they are both worked independently. So I'll show you the wrong side. This is what the wrong side looks like. So it creates basically these little dots here, and then there are a few longer flows because of the nature of this design. But yeah, this is what it looks like, and then you don't have a float that connects these two because both motifs are worked independently. So in terms of the material that we need today, we need a main colored yarn, a contrast colored yarn that we will be holding double in this case, and knitting needles and a few stitch markers. So I will show you how I do the yarn management with this, just because if we're holding two strands for each motif, plus one strand for the main color, that's 5 strands in total. And so to make yarn management easier, I recommend to use either yarn bobbins like this. This is one that I just made myself I just cut it out from cardboard, and you can see that I'm holding already 2 strands on this yarn bobbin together. So I would need 2 yarn bobbins with 2 strands each, plus my main color. Or alternatively, you can use little bags like this. So you can see here that I'm working my second sock, and I'm holding these little balls of yarn in these small bags, and you can see that they are both independent from each other, and we have the main color yarn. All right, now I'll put a chart on the screen so that you can see what they look like, and that is basically the top part of this motif here. And you'll see that it's very similar to a traditional stranded colorwork chart, except that the contrast color doesn't fill the whole square. It just looks like a float, which is what we will be creating here. So we are never knitting with the contrast color. It's just used to create these flows by bringing it to the front and to the back of the work, like I'll show you in a second. And in my designs, you'll always find all the even numbered rows. So the numbers on the right side of the chart are the row numbers, and all the even numbered rows are going to be in bold, because in those rows we have to do something a bit special to change the orientation of the thread. So I put that in bold to remind you that you have to create a loop that I'll show you in a second. Alright, so I've already worked a little tube here of stockinette stitch in the main color, and we will work here between those 2 stitch markers, the chart. So the chart now tells me to knit 8 stitches, then make a 1 stitch float. So I will first start by knitting those 8 stitches. Now I'm ready to make my 1 stitch float, and so the first time that you are attaching your contrast color, so here I have my 2 strands of contrast color, you want to take the yarn tail and put it at the back, and then bring those 2 strands between the needles from the back to the front. So you will have your working yarn hanging like this at the front. Now we will knit 1 stitch, and make sure to always have your main colored yarn go over the contrast color to lock it in. So I will knit one stitch. Then I take both strands and I pass them both together between the needles from the front to the back. And I like to hold it here to the left to make sure that after I go with my main color on top of that contrast color to lock it in. So I'll knit a few stitches. And you can see here that we have our first little float. So now I will work all the way around and meet you again right here where we need to do our 3-stitch float on an even numbered row. Alright, so now we are on row 2 and we need to make that 3-stitch float. And in this technique, the Estonian Inlay, to avoid having very long floats at the back, we use a method that I will show you now that requires making a loop to avoid those very long strands at the back. So you want to take your working yarn, bring it over your left hand needle, make a little loop like this. It can be as long as you want, and bring it from the front to the back between your needles. Now with the main color I will knit 3 stitches while making sure again to lock in that contrast color by going on top of that. So 1, 2, 3, and then we will bring the part that is to the right. We will bring those 2 strands between the needles from the front to the back. So I will hold that here for now and knit at least 2 or 3 stitches. Again, we are locking in that contrast color. So 1, 2. So we can see that we have our float, but the problem here is that we have a big loop at the back that we don't want. So you will take your working yarn, the one that is attached to your yarn balls, and pull. So I like to do this looking at the wrong side so that I know when to stop. And here I have my yarn tails are in the way. I'm just going to put them to the side like this. So you want to pull until that loop is gone. And then if we look at the front, it created a 3-stitch float. But as you can see, it's quite tight. So I'm just going to stretch the fabric a little bit like this. And depending on the type of project that you're doing, it will be more or less important to keep track of a good tension like this. For example, if you're doing this in the yoke of a sweater that doesn't need to be stretched because it has positive ease, let's say, then you don't need to worry too much. But if you are working a sock and that sock has negative ease, you want that sock to be able to stretch a little bit on your foot without getting the motif too stretched out. So you want here to give it a little pull just to make sure that you have enough yarn here. So now I will work around here again to show you one more time how to work an odd numbered row, and then I'll do that again to show you again how to work these even numbered rows with the loop. Alright, so I've worked now to the place where I need to make my first 1-stitch float on row 3, and we can see that the yarn is already at the correct place. So it's to the right, so we don't need to make that loop, and also because it's an odd numbered row. So we bring the working yarn from the back to the front, we knit 1 stitch, then we bring that contrast yarn to the back, we knit 1 stitch, then again bring this to the front, knit 1 stitch, bring it to the back, and knit all the way to the marker. And then I will knit around and show you again how to work with the loop. So now I've made it to row 4, so it's an even numbered row, so we need to create the loop again. So with the working yarn, we bring it on top of the left hand needle, then we create our loop by bringing the yarn through between the two needles from the front to the back, and then I need to knit 1 stitch, and then again with the part that is coming from the right side of your work, you bring it to the back, we knit 1, bring it to the front, knit 1, bring it to the back, knit 1, and again to the front, knit 1, and to the back. And now I will keep knitting to lock it in. Now we need to remember that we have a loop, so to get rid of this loop, we will pull on the working yarn until the loop has disappeared. But now it may happen that you forget to pull this and you are left a few rows later to discover that you have this loop here. So I will leave it like this for now to show you how to fix that later if that happens. But just remember to always pull it to get rid of your loop. So on the front side now it looks like this. So I will work another few rows and then I'll come back to show you how to deal with this forgotten loop if that happens. Alright, before I show you how to fix tension issues and mistakes, I'll just briefly show you what can happen when you need to create a loop. So when you are working on an even numbered row, and you need to create a loop, but your yarn is coming from somewhere in the middle of your motif. So we will put the yarn to the front, create our loop by taking the working yarn and bringing it through the needles. First I need to work that last stitch here, slip my marker. Now I'm ready to make my loop like this, and then here I need to knit 1, put the contrast color to the back, knit 1, do another 1 stitch float, then I will work to the middle here. Alright, so here I still use the yarn that is coming from the right side of my work to put it to the front. I knit my middle stitch here, and then I'll show you what happens when we need to do the next float. Alright, so here I need to do a 1 stitch float, but my loop is like somewhere in the middle here, so it can be difficult to know which one of these strands to use to put to the front. So what I advise you to do is just find the strand that is the one that is that was used previously. So you see that if we pull on it, is this one, and it's not the one that is coming from lower, so it's the one on top. So I grab this one to put between the needles, we knit 1 to make our 1 stitch float, and then I will finish my row. Right, and now the last step is to pull here, and you see that here we also created a pretty long float from the middle to the end of the motif, but that is normal, so just make sure that tension is good. And that's it. Alright, so I've now finished working row 6, and let's say, as I was saying before, that you just notice here that a few rows below you forgot to resolve this loop. What you can do, because the contrast color is not used to knit stitches, you can actually go afterwards to adjust your tension or mistakes like this. So if you go on the wrong side and you identify where this mistake happened, so here I will pull on the strand that is closest to the needle, I will pull on it a little bit so you can see that it's here that we need to adjust. So I will pull on this, until the loop is gone. And then you just have to work your way up like this until the loop is gone. Right, so now the loop is gone. Let's see how it looks on the right side. I think this looks good. So now you would be good to go to continue. So you can do this as long as you don't have your ends woven in from either side. We could also like adjust this one, for example, make it a little bit tighter. Pulling here. And that's it. That's how to work the technique. I hope you found this useful and that you will enjoy to test out the Estonian inlay. Thanks for watching.